There's three things you can be sure of in life: death, taxes, and when Preston North End sell out at Deepdale and have a big game live on TV, they stink the place out. Welcome back to Where The Gentry Walk. We've got Harvey and Joey back with us. How are you all doing? We're recording this, of course, on Monday night, just before the Watford game. But, of course, we always review every single game on Preston season. So we are looking back briefly on that Blackburn game and thinking about how do we get through this week without any midfield. Hope you're doing well. Not some very kind tweets to look at this week. Chris says, that was effing awful. We need all of them in at 7 a.m. for training tomorrow. Apart from Ben Whiteman, Mads and Michael Smith, they can honestly be effed off far from this team and left to fend for themselves in the Blackpool Sea. And that was as kind as it got following Friday night. We're also talking about, is this it for Mads now? Is his legs gone? Can we get anything out of him for the rest of the season? Where do we start then, Joey? I know no one cares about Blackburn now because we're looking ahead to Watford, but we have to just reflect on what was a shocking performance, and I was not expecting it. Were you?
Well, I mean, as you alluded to, and I think as I mentioned in the previous podcast, when we, like you said, when we sell out, when we can go second or top or even into the playoffs, it just happens like that, and it was exactly how I expected it to go, but I just didn't think we would be that bad. And I think what was more alarming was just the lack of effort, especially in the second half. It was like, those second balls we were favourite for. We were just like ducking out of the challenges and headers and stuff. And I think it showed when it was like the first good, it wasn't a good challenge, but the first actual sort of derby sort of style challenge came in the 93rd minute from Ben Whiteman. That could have been a red, but where was that from the first minute? There was just no urgency. I thought second half we'd come out the traps because we didn't really play particularly well first half, but we got that goal just before half time, and I thought we're going to do the same thing we did against Sheffield United, where we come out trapped second half. Hopefully that gives us a lift, but I don't know what happened at half time, whether Hecky's gone, well, that wasn't good enough, and especially after we just scored, I don't know if something's gone on there, because it was frankly pathetic. I think the second half performance, I think there wasn't one player I could actually think, oh yeah, you did do the good job. I think everyone, probably for a derby game, it just like you said, it stink the place out. Absolutely stink the place out.
Yeah. What did we learn then, Harvey, from that game? First of all, did we learn that Smith is not going to be good enough as a starting striker at this level?
With all due respect, I think if you're just learning that, I think there's a bit of a problem. I think both of us, me and Joey especially, have said on this podcast already about how we don't think Smith is good. Obviously, there's the argument that some fans could say that maybe we've not utilised him correctly, played to his strengths. But I mean, what other strengths can you play to a 6-foot striker when he's not winning a header for 90 minutes? It's a bit difficult. But yeah, I'm exactly the same as Joey. It was a really spineless performance, and it's just not something I ever want to relive again.
We have to ask this question though. Anthony says Blackburn were terrible, which makes it harder to take. We didn't deserve it at all. That second half performance is as bad as I've seen us in a while, and I think Mads is done, isn't he? I'll let you two discuss that between yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to actually pick out a bad performance from that, but I think he really epitomised that, as I just mentioned there, that lack of effort. I think you want from your substitutes, when the team's got their heads are down, you want the player to really lift them up and to bring that bit of energy and bit of like, oh, actually, we've got a bit of a chance here. If anything, it was the other way around. It looks like he just couldn't be bothered. Pretty much like a lot of players, but it just looked like he was just waiting for the full-time whistle and, the ground to suck him up. But yeah, I think if he can't do it on games like that, and he hasn't done it since getting his chance back in the team, then when is he going to do it? I thought the competition would really spur him on this season, because last season he didn't have too much competition and he was probably overused. This year, what's his excuse? Yeah, he's a bit of a luxury player, and at the moment I just think we need someone who's actually can do both the creative stuff and actually do a bit of work, and we've got him in some of the players like Armstrong and Devine, etc.
I'm a bit split in the sense that I think that Mads is one of them scapegoat players. I'd say as what Ben Whiteman used to be. Obviously, it's very up for opinion. I've always been a favourite of Mads. I think he's always got that creativity to find a pass in the final third that not many of the midfielders do. I think that he's starting to become a bit of an on his day player, which is obviously really sad to see. But on his day, I think that like some of the chances he can create and the way he can just strive the team forward is something that I really like in a player. But I think the problem with it as well is like Joey's just mentioned, when you've got such high quality in the squad this season, such as, you know, Devine, Dobbin, Armstrong, I think that sets the standard even higher. And I think you expect more from players who have been here for longer, like Mads has. And I think that maybe just he's not living up to the standard that these midfielders that have come in have set. But I don't think he's done for me just yet. But I do think that something needs to change a little bit. Maybe his mentality and attitude, or just something. But yeah, he's not playing where he needs to be right now.
Is he done for you then, Harvey? Or when was his last good game?
Probably Southampton. Obviously, I think come on impacted the game. Him and Steph played relatively well for the little spells that he come on. I thought that he also had a bit of a good game in the loss against West Brom. I know that obviously we lost the game, but again, it's them final third passes that create chances in a game that you're chasing. So for me, I wouldn't say he's done right now, but I think the performances just need to improve a little bit.
We're on to Watford this week, who had a great result against Derby at the weekend, and then Sheffield Wednesday at the weekend. Joey, in terms of midfield, you've obviously got Whiteman suspended now. You've got no McCann. Armstrong, we're not sure is going to be in. So what do you think that midfield's going to look like at Vicarage Road?
I strongly suspect he'll start that Jordan Thompson, purely in the fact that we'll have no sort of ball winner in the midfield now. Whiteman's gone. I think that does bring a bit of concern because he hasn't played for, I don't know, probably over a year or something. I think he was injured at the end of the season for Stoke as well. So he's not played in the team either for a match for us. I was expecting him to come on Friday night. I was a bit disappointed he didn't. I'm disappointed that Hecky only made 3 subs, actually. It's a bit of a, considering how bad we were playing. But so it does bring a bit of concern to me that if he does start, and I obviously expect Tordarson to start as well, obviously Devine as well. But I'm really hoping, touch wood, that Armstrong's back, and it's that ish, that is a very, that it was just a little knock or whatever, because we badly missed him on Friday night, and I think if him back in the team, I think it'll just be a big lift for us. So hopefully, fingers crossed. If not, I'm hoping Thompson can, prove us all wrong and get a good start into his career.
Harvey, one of the Blackburn goals, some fans have said Everson should have come out and claimed the crosses before it landed in the path of the knock on. Do you agree?
Well, when I was watching it from the stands, it from my position, sat in the certain footy from the side, it looked as if it was a ball that was lofted into the box that Everson could have just come out and collected. Since then, I've watched the replay, and it's a bit difficult because I now share the opinion with some fans that he shouldn't have had to be in that position because it's Jebberson's man, and Jebberson loses him completely. He just lets him run away from him, and then it immediately puts Everson on the back foot, because then as a keeper you then stuck whether to go or whether to stay in your line and try and save it. It's a bit of a really difficult one. I did think he should have come and got it at first, but I do think it's Jebberson's fault for losing his man in that fashion.
Okay. We're not going to call out Everson. We did that with the Leicester one, didn't we? So we're not too twice in a row. Before we move on, do drop us a quick subscribe if you've just found the channel. 20 minutes of Preston North End chat every single week. We know there's lots of other Preston podcasts out there, but we generally enjoy making this content for you. Press a quick like as well and join in with this next couple of debates. Dodgy goalkeepers is our next link, which has nothing to do with what we just spoke about, I promise, but there has been some rooks from many goalkeepers in the Championship in the last couple of weeks. So it's got us thinking about who's the worst that we've ever seen. First of all, Joey, can you remember who the worst ever goalkeeper played for North End has been?
Yeah, it's a strange way goalkeepers at North End, because we either have a really, really good ones, someone like Pickford, Sam Johnston, obviously Everson, and then we have some absolute clangers. There's no seem to be in between. And I was thinking about this because I was like, I remember some really bad ones like Andreas Residue, Jamie Jones, just some really bad keepers we've had. But I was thinking it has to be Chris Maxwell because he was signed to be first keeper. He wasn't. Some of these, even Di Cornell, even Conor Ripley, they were signed for second keeper. They came in, maybe played a few games. You can sort of understand why they were poor because they weren't signed to be top championship keepers. Chris Maxwell was signed to be our main keeper, and he played, I think, about 80 games, but absolutely stunk the place out. And I actually remember a game against Ipswich, I think it was, away when actually Paul Gallagher ended up going in goal. I don't know if you remember the game. And he scored a goal actually in the first half. And Maxwell was at fault for 2 of the goals by coming out of his line. Rashly, but he obviously gave the penalty away, the second one, but he got his first booking because he came out rashly and got his second booking for doing the exact same thing, got sent off. And I was like, that absolutely epitomised him. And I was like, if that's your first keeper, I'm going to put in Maxwell. And also, he was a Blackpool player as well after he left us. So the whole thing about him, get him in that list.
Decent show. Harvey, we've been here before, but who is it for you?
Well, I would have said Maxwell, but obviously Joey's taken that. So I know. Honestly, I know he only played one game, but this will very much stick in the memory of many Preston North End fans. And it was Michael Crowe. Played one game in the cup against Doncaster, and I think he let in 3 absolute howlers, and he never played another minute for North End. And it's the worst goalkeeping performance I've ever seen.
Okay. Not sure we're going to beat that, but if you can think of some a bit further back in time than these two, please let us know in the comments. We do read every single comment that you put in here as well, by the way, so do engage. Thank you very much. We've been doing the A to Z of North End the last couple of weeks. We're up to letter G here. This is how this works. One player or one event or one ground, one moment in North End's history. Finney was the easy F last week, so no such easiness, I hope, this week for the letter G. Harvey, you're definitely first this week. What are you getting?
Well, there is, in my opinion, I think there is only one correct answer, and I think that it has to be Paul Gallagher. Really long servant of the club, exceptional midfielder, even a really good goalkeeper when he were in that Ipswich game. He made a great save from the free kick, but I think he was just really good. Obviously, he played for Rovers, so there's that. But I think he's got to be the number one pick for G for me.
Joey?
I'm going to disagree on that one, actually, because maybe it's my age again. But and it was only when I was really young, to be fair, but Sean Gregan, absolute legend, massive leader, and got us into, he got us into the championship, almost got us promoted. He was just the epitome of a Preston player back then, David Moyes player. So I'd have to say him. Plus also Gallagher, he when he left on a bit of sour terms when he went to Stoke for the coaching side. So I'm also taking my eye from that as well. There's also another thing we need to mention is Gentry Day, because I think that's a huge thing. In Preston, sort of folklore, I suppose. Yes, I think that is an absolute honourable mention as well. Yeah,
I was hoping you might bring up the title of the show at some point for G. Right, which of those get us in then? What would you think of Preston?
Should we put Gentry in as we're split on the players?
Yeah, I'll either Gentry or Gregan. I know a lot of older fans will know Sean Gregan. My brother knows Gregan.
Okay.
So.
Gentry Day, don't we? Yeah, we need a good performance on Gentry, don't we? We've had last 2 have been awful.
Yeah.
Was it Hull last year, and I think we were the year before, but
we need a Watford. Yeah, it was a draw.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we need a good one this year. All right, folks. That's all for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the Watford game. Would you take 3 points this week, Harvey? 4 points? Would you beat Wednesday, lose to Watford? Is that all right?
So for me, when I look at Watford as a team, I think they are exceptional in the midfield. Obviously, you've got Imran Louza, who's obviously Watford's best player by a mile. He's getting goals and assists, week after week. And I think with the midfield struggles that we've got, I think that you can either absolutely run the show or hopefully we'd get. I would take a point at Watford away, given the injury situation and suspensions at the minute. I think, given obviously no disrespect to them, it's a real shame like where they are as a club, but I think you have to go to Hillsborough and take nothing less than 3 points. Obviously, with the way that the team is at the minute, obviously it's a horrible place to be in as a club, but they're just not near the level that we are in terms of the squad, really. So I would take 4 points this week, but obviously 6 is a bonus.
Okay, and that league is mad, isn't it, Joey? I mean, we were saying earlier, if you win 3, you promotion contenders. You lose 3, you're in the relegation mix. Just have you ever known it to be as tight as this season?
Not from what I can remember. No, I think, yeah, like you say, I think there's that bit of a gap between the relegation. I suppose Sheffield United are now picking up a bit of points now, so we're still like, I think we're about 13 points clear of the relegation zone. But like you say, few defeats, and we obviously lost 1. I'm really struggling to see if we can win tomorrow because of the injury situation, and then it really puts the pressure on the Sheffield Wednesday game, because suddenly you've lost 2 and you're up against a side who. I've got nothing to. I've not nothing to play for, but there's no pressure on them, and there'll be a lot of pressure then suddenly building on us if we don't get anything tomorrow night. I think the best thing we can do tomorrow night is just, really respond from Friday night's performance and at least put in a good shift, and at least be in the game, because if we do what we did on Friday night, then I think suddenly the confidence from the fans, they start getting a bit on the back of the players again, and it puts us in real big pressure to pick up the points against Wednesday. So hopefully, yeah, we can at least put on a performance tomorrow night, if not get a point at least.
Cool. Right, join us next week when we review both of those games. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great week out there.